Hi and welcome back. Tonight I am making cube steak. It's a really cheap meal and it's really easy and really fast. I've already got my pots heating up, pans. I use cast iron for this, and I use bacon grease. I just saved bacon grease and I use bacon grease. The cube steaks I bought were from Aldi. I put them on paper towels and I used another paper towel to dry them off. I'm going to season them with salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. No measurements, just whatever you like. You'll use more seasonings later when we make the gravy. This ends up being kind of like a Salisbury steak, I guess. You can also do these like a country fried gravy with breadcrumbs and not breadcrumbs. I would use flour dredge, egg, milk, and flour dredge. So when these get hot, we're just going to put them right in there. Just waiting for them to get nice and hot. I'm going to do 4 in each pan because I don't want to overcrowd the pan at all. So I don't know if you know how to do this. The oil will make a ripple in it when it gets hot enough. And you can see it. And when you put it in, it should sizzle. So it looks like it's ready. Yep. There we go. I'll put 4 in each pan. Now, I have them on high. I'm going to turn them down to medium. I don't want them to cook on the outside and then not on the inside. I just got my new stove, so I'm super stoked about it. It has the convection oven. My old one was broken. My oven had been broken for, 2 years. So this one finally works. It works great. The oven works great. I'm super pleased about it. I am going to season the other side of these steaks too. Now, cube steak is not real steak, right? We all know this. It's like, the cheap version of steak. You can also do this same recipe in the crock pot, or I think you could probably even do it in the Instapot if you wanted to, but I don't think they would come out whole. I think they'd be a little mushy in the Instapot. But I don't cook in the Instapot enough to really know. Okay, we're done with that. We're going to let them fry probably 5 minutes on each side, 4 or 5 minutes. We don't want them completely done because once we've fried on both sides, we are going to make a gravy. And they're going to cook in the gravy for about 15 or 20 minutes to finish cooking all the way and get all those yummy flavors. So while these are cooking like that, I'm going to cut up my onions for the gravy. I think in one of my previous videos I showed you this little handy dandy chopper. It is the coolest. I need a bowl. So they're like a rough chop. Some of them are big, some of them are small, but it's okay because they're for the gravy. I don't mind if they're all different sizes. Some stuff I make, I need them all the same size. This one doesn't. If you feel like your heat's up too high, just turn it down. So I got these onions. This is just 2 onions. I don't even know if I need them all. But you know what? I'm going to chop them anyway because my kids will put them in their salad or whatever. We're also having pierogies later this week, so I can keep them for the pierogies. All right, I'm going to do this and then to the edge. So if you see the meat as it's cooking, and I'm not crying from all the onions. It's wonderful. I'm going to use also for the gravy, Better Than Bouillon, the roasted beef flavor. I have water boiling on the other side of the kitchen in my hot pot. And I will actually make the Better Than Bouillon a tablespoon per cup of water. For the gravy, I'm going to put some flour in it and make like a flour and beef flavored roux once the onions go in. So as you can see, it's bleeding on the top. That's how you know it's time to flip it. Now all of these are not bleeding, so I'm not going to turn them all yet. Eventually, they're going to shrink some, and they'll all end up in one pot. But to fry them, I don't want to overcrowd because then the middles tend to get raw and the edges are done. So once they've fried, I'll come back and show you the rest. Okay, so my meat is almost done. I transferred it to this pan. It is just finishing the last minute or so on the other side, making sure that they're all nice and brown. They have shrunk enough for me to put it all into one pan, which is perfect. And then I'm going to show you in this pan. I didn't start the onions yet, so because I wanted you to see. So I'm putting a little bit more bacon grease in the dirty pan because I want all those beef bits and yummy stuff. So we're going to do that, and I'm just going to add those onions. Now it is up really high, so I'm going to turn that heat down so that I don't burn the onions. I don't want to burn them. I'm just going to make them translucent. I don't want to overcook them in this because they're going to go in the gravy in the other pan with the meat. So I just really want to cook them for a few minutes. Now this piece is really big, so I'm just going to take it out. But it doesn't matter how you chop your onions, whether you have that little machine or whether you chop them by hand. Some people want slices, dices. It's your dinner. You get to choose what you want. I'm going to turn this meat off now over here. Sorry, now you can hear me, right? That was dumb. Anyway, I'm going to turn this off and let it finish cooking. I'm going to stir these for a minute. I actually want to add some more garlic in there, but I want to add some already minced fresh garlic. I guess it's not really fresh. It's bought in a can in a jar. Only because it's easier for me. I do have regular garlic. I'm just too lazy tonight. It was a really long day. I'm really tired. I actually don't even want to cook dinner. But maybe we're not going to have garlic. I didn't even want to cook dinner tonight. I babysit and I had 2 little ones today and I'm just tired because I haven't been sleeping well. So I'm going to turn that up for a second and get that garlic just browned a little bit. I guess not really even brown, just cook it for like 30 seconds before I mix it in with the onions. Perfect. We like a lot of garlic, and I know it's good for you. Makes you stink, but so we'll just let that cook. In the meantime, I'm actually going to take the meat out of the pan now, and put it on a tray, another tray, because I'm going to make the gravy right in this pan. And I'm going to use some more baking grease. Ooh, that's a little too much, but I may have to add some extra flour in. Anyway, I'm just going to make not like a roux. Use my baking grease as the butter instead of butter. I have a child that can't do dairy, so I try to not use butter when I can. I won't use margarine. I don't know. I'm afraid of it. I read the back and what it's made out of. No thanks. So this is always interesting. I'm going to do 4 tablespoons of the Better Than bouillon. And that hot water. And I want 4 cups of gravy. And the reason I do it this way with the Better Than bouillon, because it dissolves really fast in the boiling water. I'm going to stir these up a bit. These are done. These are ready to go in the gravy. Okay. I'm sure most of you have already made a roux from time to time. So I have that bacon grease in there. I'm going to add my flour. Oops, I just made a mess. Not like that's anything new. Yes, of course the dogs are going to bark. Hopefully with a little bit more grease. I picked up a lot of tidbits at the bottom. Alright, I'm just going to let it cook for a second. There we go. This is exactly what I want it to look like. And now for the hard part. Stir and pour. Don't pour it all in at once. I like to do a little bit at a time. You gotta stir continually, and I'm turning my heat down a little bit. Otherwise, you're gonna have big, humongous clobs of flour. If you've never done this before, you probably won't do it on the first try. I think I made clumpy gravy for 2 years before I could finally do it perfect. Now I'm going to turn my heat up a little bit. But that gravy is ready. It will thicken up as it cooks for the next 20 minutes. But that's ready. I have it between medium and low. I have, let's see, 3 dots between medium and low, and I have it on the middle dot in between. Okay, that's ready to go. This is ready to go. Okay, we're going to take, I probably already have a dirty spoon. So I'm just going to take some of these and put them on the bottom. Okay, I'm going to stir it up again. Then we're going to take our meat and This is a very easy, very inexpensive meal. The cube steaks were $6 a package. I bought 2 packages. There's 4 in a package. I bought them at Aldi, so they were much cheaper than if you go to Meijer or anywhere else. Walmart even. I don't know that I buy meat at Walmart ever. Maybe I have. I don't know. Anyway, I am just going to add the rest of these onions in. I'm going to turn this to almost low, but not quite. It's got to cook those. Remember, that meat is not cooked all the way through. So we want it to cook all the way through as it's simmering. But you're just going to let it simmer for about 15 or 20 minutes. It depends on how done your meat is once you pull it out the first time. If it's almost done, just simmer for a little bit. I like to make it a little more raw in the middle because then it takes all these flavors, which I like. So this is, we just want to make sure it's completely filled. And then, I don't have a lid for this pan. I don't know anybody that has a lid for a cast iron. So I do this. And that's why I have 2 cast irons. So that's going to cook. In the meantime, I'm going to make mashed potatoes. I'm actually not making them from scratch. My kids, for some reason, really like the packaged potatoes that we get at Aldi. They're called Idahoan. Haha, funny. And so I'm going to make a couple of packages of those. The only difference is I doctor them up with garlic, salt, pepper, and butter. So because we're having butter in the potatoes, that's why I wanted to make sure that I didn't use any type of dairy in here so that Aaron won't get sick. Okay, so my 20 minutes is up for this, so I'm just going to turn off the heat. The water for the potatoes is boiling now, so I'm going to put the potatoes in. This is what I was talking about. It's just a package of dry mix. I can't even believe my kids like this over my homemade potatoes. But tonight I don't mind because I don't want to cook. So here we go. We just dump them in. It was 6 cups of water for 3 packages. We just dump them in. I mean, super, super, super easy. I take a spoon. And then you turn off the heat, of course, and then the potatoes are going to absorb all that liquid. And then once all the liquid is absorbed, you're going to dump your butter in. But they're not, I don't think they're good without the butter. You have to add the butter. I mean, they're not horrible, but they are instant potatoes, so you got to keep that in mind. Boy, I remember when John was little. He's 27 now. But when he was little, I think I would make instant potatoes all the time. I didn't know how to cook. I was a horrible cook. Okay. So, that's what it looks like. Mashed potatoes. And then I'm just going to put this whole stick of butter in. Like that. Put the lid on. Let it melt. And I'm going to show you the meat. So, there's your gravy, there's your cube steak, all done. If I wasn't videoing it, it probably would have taken me 30 minutes total cook time and maybe 10 minutes prep, so like 40 minutes. Now, if you had your onions pre-cut, some people cut their onions at the beginning of the week and prep their vegetables, it would have been less. And with me videotaping, of course, it takes a little bit longer. But it's a really quick, easy dinner. The kids love it. We have a small side salad with it or some corn or carrots or something. And that's it. That's a meal. So have a nice night.